So, people have been requesting that I start chess up again on this channel. So, here we are with a brand new series. This time, we'll be talking about and analyzing Carlsen and his games throughout his career. So, some little bit of backdrop about Carlsen. His full name is Sven Magnus Carlsen. He is a Norwegian chess player, and right now he is currently the best player in the world. He has the highest rating in the world right now, so that basically classifies him as the best player in the world. So basically, if you don't know what rating is, so rating points are basically how many points you have earned from wins and losses throughout your chess career. So if you lose more, self-explanatory, you lose points. If you win more, you win more points. So, but the twist is here that if you lose to someone lower than you, that means you lose more points because you're losing to a person that's a lower level than you, so you lose more points, and the other person wins more points. And that's the same thing in winning. So if you win against somebody who's higher than you, you get more points. But you just get win points. Even if you win, you get a certain number of points, like 16 points, and if you lose 16 points, like that. But then the thing is that if you win against someone higher, you get more, and if you lose against someone, you lose more. That's the same thing you draw. If you draw with someone higher, you get more points. If you draw with someone lower, you get less points. Actually, you lose points, actually. So, without further ado, let's start. So, this game was played by Magnus Carlsen and another acclaimed grandmaster whose name is Goran Fant. So, Carlsen was white in this game and Fant was black. So, Carlsen starts off with e4. So, e4 is a fairly popular move that Bobby Fischer used in the 1900s. So, that's a pretty good opening. And black responds with e6. So e6 is basically a move to further play d5 on the next move to attack white's center. And then, so white says, you know what, I'll just try and control the center right away. So, that I have an early lead in the game. So he plays d4. So d4, and as I said, d5 to try and take control of the center. I would not take control, but try and stabilize black's position in the center. And white plays knight c3. Knight c3 is basically just a development move and protecting the pawn on e4, so that's a fairly simple move. And black plays bishop b4. This move also is a fairly simple move because black's intent is to take this knight, and if black takes this knight, well, let's see the variation. Oh wait, never mind, I can't. So okay, cut that out. If black takes the knight, then white takes back, and that leaves the e4 pawn unprotected, and black takes the e4 pawn. So white does not want that, so he plays e5. E5, so that even if black takes the knight, he takes back and there's no threat of losing the e4 pawn. And black plays knight e7. So knight e7 is just a simple basic developing move, nothing else. Maybe moving it to g6 sometime to stabilize some squares so that it protects the king side. And white plays a3. This is just to kick out the bishop from its territory. And black takes the knight. So black takes the knight and doesn't want to move back because then he'll be pushed back even more and the bishop would be of no use, so he just takes the knight. And white obviously takes back because he would be down a piece if he doesn't take back. So that's that. And black plays b6. So b6 is basically trying to get the bishop to b7 because it does the bishop on the white square doesn't have much life on the king side, so he's trying to get it active on the queen side. So that's basically the point of b6. After b6, white plays queen g4. Queen g4 attacking this g7 pawn, and that's basically it. And maybe trying to get more pieces onto the king side to attack the king. And also, if black castles at this moment, um, white would play bishop h6 and win the rook. Otherwise, it would be checkmate. So that's a good move for white. So queen g4, knight e5. So black plays knight. No, sorry, my bad. Not knight e5, knight f5. So knight f5 is just protecting this pawn because if he castles, as I said before, and now the knight is protecting the h6 square, so that threat is not valid anymore. So knight f5 is a good counter move to white's attack right now. And white plays bishop d3. Bishop d3, white's intent is to take this knight and continue its attack without any counter moves against it by taking this knight. And this knight is key knight because it protects two key squares. So black plays h5. He's just attacking the queen and just trying to gain some momentum and tempo, because if white takes the knight, then as I said, white's attack might be deadly. So white plays queen h3, just a simple move, moving the queen back. You can't move to g3 because the knight is attacking that square. So that's basically what white does. And black plays c5. c5 attacking the center. Again, the center is still valid even though we're not concentrating on the center. Whoever gains control of the center more oftenly not wins the game. So black's trying to implement something in the middle of the board. So that's the point of c5. Bishop takes f5. So white takes the bishop on f5, which is basically a move to gain some tempo back. Like, he's like a forcing move, so he wants to gain some tempo back. And he takes this knight on f5. Black takes back on f5 and queen g3. So queen g3 is again white continuing that attack on g7, is relentless on that pawn. So the king is forced to play f8 to protect the pawn. So this is a bad move for black because first of all he can't castle. Second of all, his king is in a bad position, and white's pieces are gonna try and go on the king side, and most of his pieces are already facing the king side. There's not much activity on the queen side, so that's another bad point for black. White plays h4. h4 is basically just stopping the pawn from advancing down, attacking the queen, just being a pest to the queen. So Carlsen immediately puts a stop to that. And black plays knight c6. Knight c6 is just a developing move again. Also, if black takes on d4 and white takes back, knight will take and black will be up a pawn. So that's what black's intent is on that move. white then plays bishop g5. Bishop g5 attacking the queen and trying to put some pressure on the king side. And black responds to this by playing f6. f6 blocking, attacking the bishop and blocking the line to the queen. And white's just like, you know what, I'll just take this pawn. And black takes it back. So black takes back and white plays bishop e3. This is pinning. This is a pin with the king, but the pin won't do that much because next move white will probably play the knight and castle. So black plays queen e7. No, queen d. Yeah, queen e7. Queen e7. My bad. And white plays queen e2. Sorry for the pause there. My headset and my thing ran off. So he plays knight e2. As I said, just blocks the pin. This pawn is defending, getting ready to castle. Black's position looks like it's like a bulldozer ran over it. It's helter-skelter, all the pieces, like this back rank, the bishop is not developed, the rooks are not connected. Nothing good for black right now. And so black plays bishop e6, trying to develop his pieces, trying to get some momentum, trying to get some play, trying to get it back into this game. So he plays bishop e6, and white simply just castles, gets himself. He says like, I'm gonna get myself out of trouble. I'm just gonna like move away so that black's pieces can attack me easily. So he castles, and black plays king f7, connecting the rooks, and as I said, trying to get some play. Probably gonna play slide the rook on over to g8, attack the queen. So that's what black's plan is. And white plays knight f4. Knight f4, attacking the bishop. And like, if you don't know, bishop for a knight is a better exchange. So he's attacking that bishop on e6, and black slides the rook from a8 to g8. So he does rook a to g8, and that attacks the queen. There's like no other explanation. He just attacks the queen, and white plays queen f3, simply just getting himself out of the rook file to get his queen out of trouble. Black plays now queen d7. Queen d7 is basically getting out of like a pin with the bishop, because the rooks can easily access the queen on a pin. So just gets himself out of a pin. And white plays rook 81, just protecting this pawn, and just simply protecting the pawn. Black plays c4. c4 doesn't want to take it because it'll just be a simple exchange, and at this point he doesn't want to exchange any of his pieces because he wants to have as many as possible, because he already has a bad position, and if he trades off more pieces, this bad position might turn into a really bad position and he might get checkmated. So yeah, c4, and now white plays rook f e1. Rook f e1, putting more pressure on this bishop to try and take it and gain an advantage. And so black responds to this by playing rook g4. Rook g4, attacking this pawn, and at some point maybe attacking this knight as well, but right now not really because it's protected by two pieces, the bishop and the queen. So white simply just does G3. G3 basically is a solid, really solid move because it protects both the knight and the pawn, and the rook is actually kind of trapped because it can't move anywhere except for back, and this whole section is closed off because of these pawn structure and how white's pieces have developed throughout the game. So I play G3 and black plays King F8. King F8 turns. You'll see later. King F8 turns out to be a really bad move. But right now, let's get into Carlsen's tactics. This is how we won the game. These are some beautiful tactics. First, he starts off with knight. Knight e6. So knight e6 takes knight xe6 takes the bishop and forces the queen to take back. So now white delivers the final blow and does bishop h6, attacks the queen, is a discover check. No, not discover, it's a discover attack. The bishop is checking the king, the rook is attacking the queen. So black knows he's in trouble, so he does king f7 and rook takes the queen. Rook takes the queen, and king did f7 because if he would rather take the rook than the bishop, so he did king f7 and now he takes this. So now white plays bishop f4. Bishop f4 and black plays knight e7. He plays knight e7 because he tries to relocate his knight to a more valid square because there are not a lot of pieces here. The knight is not doing anything, so he tries to get into the action on the other side of the board. So he plays knight there. And now, the second final blow, rook e1 checks the king and forces the king. Oh wait, sorry, my bad. Forces the king. He plays king d7. I'm sorry, there was like some hesitation. He plays king d7, and now white puts the game to rest by playing queen e3. At this point, black resigns because he knows he has no hope in this game. Because, as you can see, this knight is about to go down. Like, he could play rook to e8, say, but the game is pretty much over. Like, then white would play queen. Like, let's see, rook there, queen here, king here. Maybe king, queen there, king here, here. Oh, but then just that still. Oh, and then that, and that's checkmate, and white wins. So there you go, guys. That's episode 1 of the new series where we're gonna analyze Carlsen games. And see you next time. I know that sounded cringy, but see you next time.